Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. So glad you've joined us for day 6 of our 30 days of gratitude. Today, we want to think a little bit about watchfulness, or what it means to be intentional about this work. Now, it's if you're like me, it's easy to do something for a couple of weeks or even just a few days and to kind of see some value in it. And then, oh, I don't know, maybe put it away and not really pay too much attention to it again. It's kind of like joining a gym, right? Or picking up a new habit. It just takes a while. One of the things about starting a new habit that people who study that stuff says is it's about your intentionality, and sometimes it's worth thinking about not taking on too much of a commitment internally, but working towards small little steps and successes in building any kind of new habit. And a habit can be letting go of something and choosing not to do it. And a habit can also be picking something new up. So, this idea of watchfulness, which we have in a scripture for today from Colossians, uh, it says, devote yourself to prayer, being watchful and thankful. Devote yourself to prayer, being watchful and thankful. Paul was writing that to a small community of people who were trying to figure out what it meant to be followers of Christ. The people living in this particular community would have likely been Greek or maybe a mix of different folks living and trying to figure out a new religion and a new way of being. Now, this sentiment that we find in Paul is not new to Paul. It certainly was in the Psalms, and you can find it throughout the Hebrew scriptures. But there's something about devoting ourselves to a practice or to something in particular. In this instance, Paul is talking about devoting ourselves to prayer. Maybe you don't think about this, but this very intentional work that you're doing about making gratitude lists or writing things down that have gone well or doing any of the other things that we've talked about is setting up an intentional practice of prayer. Because the next step is easy. It's just simply turning those things and offering thanks to God. I found this wonderful quote from William Faulkner about this very topic. Let me just read this to you. Gratitude is a quality similar to electricity. It must be produced and discharged and used up in order to exist at all. That was kind of a really interesting way to think about it. That our gratitude, our willingness to show thanks to others, to show this kind of appreciation for all the goodness in our lives to God and to so many different things, isn't something that can just be isolated. It actually is work we have to do. And then we have to discharge it. We have to let it go. We have to let it out into the world. And then, kind of amazing things can happen. So we've been at this for 6 days. I've been at this making recordings for 6 days. So, what happens when these things become more permanent parts of our lives? What is life like when we are looking and being intentional for things that we need to be grateful for? What happens when we consider that things do go well for us in our days? How does this change us? And how does this make us stronger? I hope you have a great weekend this weekend and enjoy what looks to be beautiful weather. And I hope that you are finding meaning in this work that we're doing together. Have a great weekend and God bless.
My song is love.